The cost of the UK's asylum system has increased to £3.96 billion from £2.11 billion 12 months ago. The Prime Minister declares the best way to slash unacceptable costs to the taxpayer is to stop the boats in the first place. Rishi Sunak has insisted the best way of slashing the unacceptable £4 billion a year asylum bill is to stop the boats in the first place. But he admitted that the government has more to do to reduce the vast expense to taxpayers. The cost of the asylum system ballooned to £3.96 billion from £2.11 billion in a year as the total of migrants waiting for a decision rose to a record high. Tory MPs last night said the immigration system is not fit for purpose, and urged root and branch reform. But the Prime Minister told the Daily Express, the best way to relieve the unsustainable pressures on our asylum system and unacceptable costs to the taxpayer is to stop the boats in the first place. That's why we are focused on our plan to break the business model of the people smugglers facilitating these journeys, including working with international partners upstream to disrupt their efforts, stepping up joint work with the French to help reduce crossings and tackling the asylum backlog. We've already reduced the legacy backlog by over 28,000, nearly a third, since the start of December, and we remain on track to meet our target. But we know there is more to do to make sure asylum seekers do not spend months or years living in the UK at vast expense to the taxpayer, waiting for a decision. Mr. Sunak added, "That's why we've doubled the number of caseworkers over the last 2 years and continue to recruit more, and we are streamlining and modernizing the end-to-end process with improved guidance, more focused interviews and rolling out the use of digital technology." The Home Office spent £3.97 billion on the asylum system in 2022-23, up from £2.12 billion in a year. A decade ago the cost to taxpayers was £500.2 million. Around £2.3 billion a year is being spent on hotel rooms for 51,000 migrants. Some 175,457 people were waiting on an initial decision on an asylum application at the end of June, up 44% from 122,213 a year earlier and the highest figure since 1999. Then, Tony Blair's government faced a backlog of 125,100. Of migrants hoping for refugee status, 139,961 had been waiting longer than 6 months for an initial decision, up 57% year-on-year and another record high. The Home Office said the rise in the asylum backlog is due to more cases entering the asylum system than receiving initial decisions. New asylum applications in the year to the end of June were also at a 20-year high of 78,768. Channel migrants made up around 41% of all asylum claims. But cases waiting to be dealt with rose by less than 1% in the same 3 months, suggesting that the increase is slowing down. Labour yesterday said the system was in complete chaos, claiming that only 1% of Channel migrants who arrived last year had received an asylum decision. But Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick alleged Sir Keir Starmer's plan was simply to wave illegal migrants through the system faster. He added, small boats numbers are 15% down on last year, against a backdrop of rising numbers of illegal migrants elsewhere in Europe. We are also on track to reduce the legacy backlog of asylum claims. Mr. Jenrick claimed that Labour's approach was a recipe for even more illegal, dangerous and unnecessary crossings. We are getting on with tackling the source of the problem by deterring young men from ever leaving the safety of France in a flimsy dinghy. We've passed the toughest piece of immigration legislation in decades, increased returns to the highest level since the pandemic and surged raids on illegal employers by 50%. A total of 19,174 asylum seekers in 405 boats have reached the UK via the Channel this year. Another 306 boats were intercepted by Border Force staff yesterday and taken into Dover Harbour. They included children plus a toddler in a pink and black coat. The PM has vowed to clear the backlog of 92,601 legacy cases, those which have been in the system since June 2022 by the end of this year. Some 67,870 such applications were awaiting a decision on June 30, so staff need to consider 11,300 cases each month. Legacy cases fell by 11,084 from the end of March to the end of June, nearly 3,700 cleared per month. Some Tory MPs believe that highlights how broken the system is. Dover MP Natalie Elphicke said, "This is a shocking waste of our hard-earned money." The asylum system is not working for British taxpayers and costs far too much. There needs to be root and branch reform to deliver a better deal. Tim Lawton MP, of the Commons Home Affairs Select Committee said, "The immigration system is still not fit for purpose." The Home Office has got to do a heck of a lot better in improving processing and turnaround times. Britain has signed a £480 million deal with Paris to boost patrols on French beaches and to increase the number of drones scanning for would-be migrants hiding in dunes. The government is also seeking more cooperation on smuggling routes with countries like Turkey, Italy, Tunisia, Albania and Libya. Tony Smith, an ex-Director General of Border Force, suggested Britain and France should jointly patrol the Channel and return migrants to France. He said, "There is provision in international law to do that. But the deal would have to be that the migrants would be taken directly back to Calais. Then of course they wouldn't get into the UK asylum system. That's where the blockage has been. The French position is that this is an EU-wide issue. Those on board are not seeking rescue, because then they'll be taken back to France. So there is evidence that people are resisting rescue until such a time as they reach our waters, and of course we are duty-bound to rescue them. Once they're on board a British vessel they will claim asylum, and that's been the business model for some time now. Enver Solomon, chief executive of the Refugee Council, said, "Taking further urgent action to reduce the backlog would not only improve people's lives, it would also make financial sense." Granting asylum to those from Afghanistan, Eritrea, Iran, Syria and Sudan would save the government millions of pounds a day, as it would end hotel use by 77%. Quote,